Sikizeni bwana. Nimesikia.
Hiya guys, back to our YouTube channel. Thanks for your great support. President William Samoei Arap Ruto anaona kivumbi upande wa region yake. Unajua Baringo County iko ndani ya Rift Valley region. Andile kivumbi William Ruto anapokea pale ni moments ambazo eti alikuwa anajaribu kununua huyu Gedion Moi ili asiingie kwa by election senatorial seat in Baringo County. And that's why unaona yesterday photos zilitrend. Statehouse wali release photos William Ruto akiwa na Gedion Moi. Guess what? Unajua residents, unajua guys, si eti kwamba Mount Kenya peke yao ndio wameamua kwamba William Ruto ni one term. Nilikwambia hii kitu ni entire country. Entire country. Kenya nzima imeamua William Ruto ni one term. Even his region. Ukiangalia Gedion Moi ni mwanachama wa KANU. And iwapo Gedion Moi atavai senatorial seat in Baringo County, then William Ruto is going to lose a lot in the Rift Valley. That's why William Ruto alikimbia. First of all, akafanya nini? Akaanza mazungumzo na huyu Gedion Moi pale Statehouse ili aweze kufanya nini? Kujizulu. Unaona guys? Now, mambo yamechemka. Residents wa Baringo County wamejam. Without Gedion Moi, no by election pale. Kama Gedion Moi hata uweza kufanya nini? Kupresent his papers. Unaona guys? Na kumechemuka, imemgharimu Gedion Moi kupiga U-turn kudamp President William Ruto baada ya hizi photos kuwa released from Statehouse. And sure me like video na nasema thanks for your great support. Nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu zaidi. Unaona guys, siasa kuna kuana mambo mawili. Ya kwanza ni betrayal. Ya pili ni interest. Na hii inakuanga tu kiwewe mwenyewe binafsi. Unaona watu wangu kujiamulia. So now, kabla tuangalie jinsi ambavyo huyu jamaa amepiga U-turn. Kumbuka William Ruto always, his close allies wanashindwa kumtetea. Always kina Cherargei wanashindwa kumtetea. You see, Willis Otieno huyu ni senior educated lawyer. And huyu jamaa, he was trying to clash with the Cherargei. Kwamba why is it that they were moving from Nairobi County to Busia County for Senator Mashinani. Utakuja realizing that wakicount zile do ambazo hawa majamaa wanatumia, utakuja kuona kwamba it is pure corruption.
Listen, this is like as a politician. You really wonder if you live in the same world. They have their own make-believe world. I'm actually in shock. But as so many Kenyans are. Because even Cherargei, when he's sitting here listening to him talk that they've gone to Busia, and he's talking about they went to inspect the border post. What has that got to do with the role of the Senate? Let's be honest. That border post, the manner in which the trade is conducted, is not the function of the Senate. The senator himself does not know his work as a senator. He does not even know what he's doing in Busia. It is not his duty to go and inspect the Busia border post. His role is to protect county administration. That is what he should be focusing on. He doesn't know why he's there, but I'll tell you why he's there. All those that you are seeing in Busia are there because they're earning per diem. They should be telling you how much each of them is being paid per day for being in Busia. And I can tell you, a minimum, each of them is earning 30,000 Kenya shillings just on per diem alone. Then they're earning on sitting allowances, a minimum 15,000. A minimum each of them is taking home is 50,000 just to appear in Busia. to do nonsense that does not involve the role of a senator. Then number two, when Ed is talking that, oh, Willis, you are pending bills from national government. I don't. I've never done any brief for the national government of Kenya. I have no pending bills. And legacy politicians will want to put you into, gaslight you. That now the problem is regionalism. The problem is one region was benefiting and not others. Divisive, typical legacy politics. Divide Kenyans across tribal lines. Don't deal with the issues that are germane to the Kenyan people. And I say this, when you listen to him, you wonder, was this man in Kenya last regime or not? Because he was part of that coalition. William Ruto was deputy president. Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. Raila Odinga and ODM were in the handshake. They were part of it. And they were singing Hosanna to these people every year. All of a sudden now, the last regime is bad, this one is good, and the problem was regionalism. Let's be honest, I was hoping any of them could even attend to this question. I've said, as Safina Party, this is our feast agenda. This is our economic promise. And I'm not saying we are promising free things. We are simply saying, apply the taxpayers' money. It is still taxpayers' money. It's not government's money. It's the Kenyan people who have said, we've contributed this much as our taxes. Yeah. You are spending 2.23 trillion this year to pay for illegal debts. Don't use that money to pay for illegal debts. Use it to fund education. Use it to fund healthcare. It is not free. It is still the people's money. Okay. And that is where we draw a difference. And finally, what I want to say is this. You know, the unfortunate bit about this conversation is that we're talking about people's lives here. These legacy politicians, they turn like a pendulum and they swing. You cannot even tell what they believe in. You cannot even tell what they stand for. They stand for nothing. As they're doing this nonsense, they are wasting the lives and the opportunities for our young people. Young people are not getting jobs commensurate with their qualifications. The economy is collapsing. The two gentlemen you are seeing there on the screen are all telling us that the economy is working. If the economy is working, I will not be on this screen saying what it is. Okay. The Kenyan people will be giving that feedback themselves. Okay.
I've taken long because of these challenges of but I want to say the following, that it is unfortunate, you know, when you have boardroom analysts who don't know what it's about. Because most of us as politicians and leaders, we normally tell Kwenda Mashinani, listen to what the people are saying. And I just mentioned Busia border post. One is unfortunate that Willis, who is a learned senior, is misleading the public. He is aware of Article 93, where Parliament is both the National Assembly and the Senate. Number two, Busia is a county. It's part of 47 counties, despite that it borders another country. Number three, we are the representatives of the people. When we are in Busia, one of the issues that people raised on Monday, or even when you interact, is the persistent gridlock at Busia border. Because as leaders, the only thing we could do is listen to our people. Number two, I have seen Okeyo saying that, and I want to tell him in future he should take Senator Eddy to Ramogi interview, and then they can have the issues there. But the point I'm trying to make is that we have made, I have said, and it is good to listen, Trevor, that we did public accounts committee meeting with the governor of Busia. Today in the morning, we are meeting the county assembly of Busia. We are, in fact, in most of our motions, we are discussing on the issues of Busia and discussing what devolution is. In fact, the Senate should operate more from where people are than in Nairobi. And I think my two brothers are just misleading, because even the allocation, the sittings that we do, what they are not telling you. I've heard Okeyo talking about the expenses that Senate Mashinani, is it fair to the taxpayers' money? But he's not telling you under the Constitution, Parliament can sit anywhere in this country because we are the representatives of the people. And that is why, Trevor, it is very critical that we are doing county visits. The committees have visited to assess. One of the roles is we are going to visit the hospital today. Most of our colleagues have visited some of the projects done by the county, and we have been very clear. Even we have discussed the revenue streams, the performance of the counties. So we are here in Busia to, in as much as to protect devolution, we are also leaders that represent the people or at the national level. On the issue of, I've seen my two brothers wobbling about the broad-based government. I want to tell them broad-based government is here to stay. We have a working partnership between us and between the UTA and ODM. And I can tell you from the look of things, because you have seen the united opposition is no longer united, is more disunited than was before. You can see Matiang'i is on his own, the former vice president. And I want to say, you have asked why Kalonzo is a highly sought after politician. I think because Kalonzo has an history of working with Raila Odinga, for example. He worked with Moi, and there is no problem. And I can tell you the president is willing to sit and engage with any leader who has an agenda of a better Kenya. And that is because all of us are Kenyans. We are not enemies. All of us belong to this country. And therefore, the conversation that Kalonzo Musyoka is the highly sought after leader is not new in this country. We can still have a conversation.
Okay.
And that is why people who sit and it is very unfortunate, because I've had our brothers taking a jibe against the empowerment programs. It is because most of them, if you ask Willis and Okeo, they have never visited their village in Nyakach for the last 9 or 10 months. And that is why they don't know what broad-based is doing. And I agree with Eddie. This is the first time that the president has brought equitable development across the country, unlike before Trevor. And that is why Senator Eddie is talking about Migori getting roads. Okay. Now we are seeing a country that from northern part of Kenya to here in Busia, across Nandi, from Nairobi to everywhere, the skyline of cities are changing. And it is very unfortunate, like people like Willis castigating the issue of affordable housing. There are many Kenyans, and I thought he should apologize to plumbers of this country. He should apologize to the electricians of this country. He should apologize to masons, because to him, what is important are doctors more than masons. Yet he knows you cannot have a house without a mason. He should apologize, and it is in fact the gentleman who was his running mate, Jimmy Wanjigi, should drop him in the next cycle of 2027, because he has reduced him to an analyst who sees things through an elitist views.
Okay.
I was with the president in Vihiga, inspecting Majengo affordable housing. And when we engaged, let me just finish, because I have not spoken in your show, Trevor, because of challenges that you have subjected me to, despite that I woke up in 4 a.m. to prepare for this show. We visited Majengo affordable housing. We visited affordable housing in Majengo. And those women who are working in that Majengo are very grateful to the president. I heard it in my ears. You go to Nairobi, anywhere, even on the issue of SHA that my brother Okeo is trying to castigate, we have agreed that universal health coverage under Article 43 should be right to every Kenyan, Trevor.
Okay.
So it is okay to criticize government, but it's okay to also criticize with facts.
Okay.
And I ask them to visit their villages and see what government is doing. In fact, Trevor, as we talk, the old Wazee Inua Jamii program has been paid for this month. Even finally on the issue of Nyota.
Yeah.
To him, 50,000 does not mean a lot to Willis, because he's a rich man, he's a man of fair. But 50,000, Trevor, can change the life of Mama Mboga, Boda, somewhere in where you come from. Where I come from, where Senator Eddie comes from, where Okeo. You know, they eat 50,000 in lunch in Nairobi, and that is why it doesn't mean a lot to them.
Yes. If it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it is a duck. And what I've said about the senators stands, and it's the truth, and that's why it's pinching them. Number one, don't turn this thing to be about Willis. Willis does not expend even a single public resource that is going to Busia to misuse public money to do what is not their role. And these senators are not experts to go and, for example, audit a hospital or audit a road. So that what we must say, let me finish. You had your time. Let me finish.
One minute for closing remarks.
When we talk about them going to Mashinani, there are professionals who've done those audits, those reports exist. You don't have to go to Busia to see with your own eye that the hospital is not working. You don't have to go to Busia to see with your own eye that the border, at their trucks which are delayed at the border, it's affecting local traders. Those local traders can do petitions. You have a local senator. You have a senator's office that is funded by taxpayers. They can report that to you. So when you go to Busia, go and deal with issues that are germane. What they are telling us, in fact, the two of them are all struggling to tell us what they are doing in Busia. I'm yet to hear it. Because in terms of their functions, they're not answering. And finally, on even the question of the roads that he tries to gaslight me that I come from Alego, those have been allocated to Alego. Let me tell you, Senator, if you are doing your work, Kura and Kera will be have devolved their functions to the county governments. Those roads will be done by the county governments. I will be talking to the county government of Siaya and not to yourself, coming to beg to a legal politician here to give the Kenyan people what they deserve. Devolve the functions of Kura and Kera as envisaged in the Constitution.
Okay.
Those roads belong to county governments. Give them that money. Let us go and fight with our governors to get those roads.
Okay.
Don't use it as political capital as you are doing.
Okay.
So na tunaelekea upande wa Baringo County. Moments ambazo IEBC ilikuwa inangojea huyu jamaa Gedion Moi aweze kupresent his papers. Residents walijam na wakajaribu kuerupt kwamba without Gedion Moi hakuna by election hapa.
Anyway, I just want to say that we are waiting for Honorable Gedion, our party leader in Kanu, to come and present his papers. And we hope he has no roadblocks between where he is now, his Kabarak, to Kabarnet. So we are waiting for him enthusiastically. Secondly, this is a democratic nation, so Honorable Gedion should be allowed to come and present his papers, because the people of Baringo are prepared to vote for him in unison. And I want you to take this statement to the bank today.
And zile moments ambazo walikuwa wanaendelea waiting huyu Gedion Moi aweze kupresent his papers, walingojea juu alikuwa amepewa time from 11 am to 2 pm, na huyu jamaa hakujionyesha. So wale supporters wake waliamua kwamba lazima present his papers ama sisi tumpresentie. Unaona guys, ikawa huyu Gedion Moi ameona it's like ana betray his supporters by going to Statehouse meeting President William Ruto ili amwambia kwamba just withdraw from that election. Unaona guys?
Yetu tu tumeshangaa masaa inaenda, na mimi bado niko na imani kwamba Gedion Moi atakuja kupeana makaratasi zake, na kama hatakuja, nafikiri kama sisi kama wafuasi itabidi tumepeana makaratasi zake.
Yes.
Kama sheria inakubali tutapeana makaratasi zake, kwa sababu hatuwezi wacha Gedion Moi ni kingpin wetu wa Baringo. Na sisi kama watu wa Baringo tunaangalia mbele. Tunaona ya kwamba baada ya 2027 Mheshimiwa William Ruto ambaye tumekubali ni 2 term, akishamaliza yake 2032, kama Wakalenjin, kama watuge na Baringo, kama watu wa Baringo, tutakuwa na nani mwenye atatushikilia?
So you can just imagine, hivyo ndo William Ruto atakuwa anafanya 2027 ikifika. Atakuwa tu ananunua watu, atakuwa ananunua opposition wasipokuwa careful. Unaona guys?
Let's begin with what the president said this Sunday in Meru County.
Jana wetu muko na nafasi ya kuchukua kura ndio muamue uongozi wa taifa letu tukienda mbele. Lakini mjue hivi, hiyo kura ni 2027. Ama mnafikiri kura ni siku gani? Si ni 2027? Tuko 2020 what? Saa hii tuko 20. Sasa sikizeni. Na hiyo kura itafanywa siku moja, sio 2, sio siku 3, sio wiki moja. Itafanywa siku ngapi?
Given the impact of the protests, yes, this is an odd reminder, is it, from the consequence of the protest to those who have been pushing for reforms, the young people?
Yes, and I think as young people, we have done fairly well. If you give me a chance to self-appraise. Because I work with young people daily, I think we attempted to save the soul of the nation in 2024, because we all know that the Finance Bill 2024 was a disaster in the making. In 2025, while I think CS Mbadi did fairly a good job with this finance bill, considering the practicality he had to deal with, but I think as young people, we came back to the streets to observe 1 year anniversary of the comrades we lost. But I think government responded with what from where I sit I would call unjustifiable levels of force. Mm-hmm. We lost so many people on 25th June, on Sabasaba. We lost, I think, up to 41 lives. That is unjustifiable.
I'm listening to that clip by Mr. Ruto, and I'm wondering why is he so paranoid and asking Kenyans, kwani tuko mwaka gani? We are in 2025 and we are going to send him home in 2027. And we are the demographic that is going to do exactly that. Because the injustices that he has caused on this generation are unfathomable. As the youth of Kenya, we are looking at different sectors of our economy, and we are wondering where exactly what exactly are we looking at when the healthcare system is still wanting, when students are not learning in schools. I think there's a more a reason to go to the ballot in 2027 than ever before. Yeah. And I like Mr. Ruto a lot because he has done one thing for this country. He has united us now more than ever in terms of being united against him. And we are going to make sure that we'll fulfill that cause because we have a date with destiny. Yeah, okay.
I've not seen a party that has welcomed so much contradictions, and it sharpens itself based on the amount of contradictions it receives. Even the people who criticize, they do not leave the party. They criticize it to enrich the conversation around the party. So I think we are ready, and I would urge other young people, if you want to join a progressive movement, join us. But if not, and you found other political parties, let us go away from this politics of these old people who want to insult each other and show each other bodies. Let us say that I disagree with Angel, not because I disagree with her party leader. I disagree with her because on the principles of social welfare, we are not aligned. On the principle of workers' rights, we are not aligned. On the principle of privatization or state-owned resources, we are not aligned.
Okay.
If we take our politics there, it will take away the violence, it will take away the corruption, and we will have the country that we fought for, that we exercised Article 1 and Article 37 last year for as the Gen Z.
Okay, and Ivy, is this the perfect time that the VAR should come in?
That's a very good question. And I really like that, because the truth is we must acknowledge the moral question is there are systemic barriers that have been developed for the young people. The exclusion, the social exclusion, the right to food, the right to healthcare, the right to systems that actually work. And that's why the Gen Z went to the streets in June 25th last year. It's because these are things that they're supposed to be given, but the system is too corrupt. It's too individualistic. And we need to now start thinking, how can we be able to benefit and better our people? How can we be able to actually push our people going forward? Article 43 of the Constitution gives us that narrative. It gives us that prevalence. Everybody, right to healthcare, right to food, right to good housing. These are systems that actually need to be there. And the Viable Alternative Republic is offering that solution. We want to sit down with these young people and ask them, what is your plan for the next Kenya? How does the next Kenya, how does the viable alternative Kenya look like to you? What is the next Kenya like to you? What do you want to see changed in the next system of government? Do you want to see maybe more young leaders? Do you want to see more AI tools that can be able to actually generate more income for you? What is it exactly that you want that can actually set precedents for the next generation to come?
There is one fundamental thing that you cannot take away from the country's young population today. Their capacity to innovate, to think, tech-savvy, connected, urban, digital. Ideally, then, how can this be harnessed, notwithstanding the different political party belongings, that 2027, then therefore for them, for us, me included, represents the transformation on the borders of the country needed, and how this largely then will naturally phase out the old political establishment, the old guard?
I thank you for that question. One, remember that by 2027, the projection is that we are going to have about 11 million new voters, first-time voters. If you add that number to the number of the young people who have sought change over and over again through the ballot, I think that the coalition of people seeking change is going to be bigger than the coalition, any other coalition, but most likely bigger than the coalition of those who are seeking to maintain the status quo.
I think that the young people of Kenya, when we go to heaven, we need a special place because we need to rest first. We have done so much.
So far.
And we got the great marks that we were told to get. We were told education is the key to success. And we took education seriously. We stayed in school. We stayed focused. Only for us to come here and find that the keys, they changed the lock and it no longer works. And we are seeing young people doing so much with technology that it is even threatening all other spheres. When we look at young Kenyans doing exams for people in Harvard and the other institutions across the world, and it's a whole documentary, and you can see that the young people of Kenya really put themselves ahead. They really do the work. I think that when we sit back and ask ourselves, when the Gen Zs had to die outside Parliament and their brains spattered outside the lawns of Parliament, and you ask yourself, does it have to go that far? It's because Parliament has the mandate to check our systems, and it's not doing it's not doing rightly so. It's been pocketed. And when we say it is one term, it is not our job to provide solutions to the current regime. The regime is paid by our taxes to be able to do exactly that. So when we even did the president a favor last year and putting him on an X-Space where we told him all the things that ail this country, but he listened and implemented none. And it came out clearly that for him, he advises his advisors on how to advise him. So who are we to advise the current regime? So I think that saying one term is crucial because we are going nowhere as a nation as long as this regime is in power. Okay.